Hey everybody, it's Dr. Lorenzo Neal here. It's been a minute since I actually did a video. I think the last one I did was in July sometime. I can't recall. But that's, so much has happened over these last several weeks. And I, I've been trying to do a video and articulate the emotional roller coaster I've been experiencing over these last several weeks. I know many of you probably have been experiencing the same thing, the tension stemming from police involved shootings. It's and the rioting, yes, not protests, rioting that's been happening in cities like Seattle, Portland, Chicago, um, now Kenosha, Wisconsin, many other places across this country, and it grieves me. I'm really grieved by it, honestly. I don't know. I really hadn't been able to articulate it, but I've been grieved by it. I wrote a post on Facebook today regarding uh, black men and black fathers, and I, as I reviewed, particularly with the George Floyd case and the Jacob Blake case. These men are fathers, they're uncles, and they're really engaged with their family. At least that's the narrative. I can't say because I don't know. I did not know George Floyd. I do not know Blake. But the narrative that's being presented is trying to paint them, even though both of them had very difficult upbringing. Well, I won't say difficult, but challenging upbringing and uh, the history, of criminal history, and that's what others. Some people have been trying to highlight their criminal history, and yes, it needs. That's part of who they are. In the case of Floyd, who they were, who he was, but I think we're doing a greater injustice when we do that. And I understand Back to Blue. I understand Blue Lives Matter. I understand All Lives Matter. In the case of this, in things cases like this, first of all, I think we need to slow down. And I was grieved when I saw how quickly violence erupted, riots erupted in Kenosha, Wisconsin. I mean, the incident happened Sunday. By Monday, they were burning the place down. And as you have seen throughout the week, only increased violence and death. And that grieves me. That grieves me more than the incident from the initial narrative, the initial incident with the police. We have to do better. I think we need to do better. We need to be less reactive. How? I don't know, but I know we need to be. We get emotions, and it's sometimes very difficult to to say to ourselves that we can restrain, and we don't have to respond directly at that moment. We can take our time and process the emotions and process the thoughts and process the narratives that come in through our minds, and nine times out of 10, those automatic thoughts, those negative automatic thoughts and narratives enter our minds, and we react to it. And at the individual level, from the micro to the macro, I think we have to do a better job. We need to push for police reform. Not only should we push for police reform, but more community engagement. How does that look? People talk about community policing. What does that look like for black folk, for urban communities? What does that look like? And as much as I am a proponent of the Second Amendment, as much as I am a proponent of responsible gun ownership, and me being a gun owner myself, and being a survivor of gun violence, having lost my mother and my nephew and a student to gun violence, and a lot of acquaintances to gun violence, I don't think arming everyone is is situation. Not saying that would happen, but when we talk about community policing, what does that look like for black folk? Now I know what it looks like in some suburban communities where it's very effective. I think back to uh, the early 20th century when police walked the beats. Back in the day, the only thing that was required to be a police officer was to be able to handle yourself and somebody else. I'm not sure if they had guns, but they were able to fight and break up fights, and you just had to be a tough individual, a tough man to be a police officer. And having a brother who is a police officer, I understand now a little bit better the inner workings of what it's like being a patrolman in the field in the urban area. And most males, just generally, we have to be tough. We're conditioned to be tough. We're conditioned to fight. We're not conditioned to run away from a fight. And when you juxtapose that with a black male who has a lot of angst for various reasons, has access to a weapon, and that just puts flames, more fuel to the fire. In some words. And I think we can find a great compromise. I don't know what that would look like. And I don't think any political party right now, all they're doing is trying to shift blame. There's no way that you can blame President Trump. So please stop doing that. Stop blaming President Trump. No, I'm not a Trump supporter, but stop blaming President Trump for the ills of this country. Collectively, we've brought on a lot of this stuff ourselves. Collectively, in the most general sense, and we have to have a villain. There always has to be an antagonist to the protagonist. And right now, there are no protagonists. We're all antagonists. We've all been compelled to play this role against our will in so many ways. We're being brought into this narrative, and we're being told to pick a side. And whatever side you pick, that's where you stay. No compromise. So, and that's dangerous. It doesn't work it didn't work in Pee Wee football. It didn't work in recess in elementary school. It certainly doesn't work when we're talking about trying to build communities and build trust within communities. It certainly does not work. That probably wasn't the best analogy. I don't know. I was watching the cartoon Recess earlier. But as a black man, as a pastor, as a community advocate, I advocate for abundant life, preach abundant life. I want us to be able to dialogue within ourselves. These young black boys, we're not teaching them the skills to dialogue with themselves. Join in the conversation with themselves and ask tough questions to themselves. Why do I feel this way? Is there another way I can feel? Why am I angry at this person or that person or this event or that event? Is there another way I can feel? Is there another way? Do I have to be angry? Is there any other emotion I can experience? Why do I feel that I'm going to be a victim someday to police injustice or to gun violence or to any other thing that plagues our community overwhelmingly? I know this rant is really not as structured as I would like to be. I'm not presenting as sound arguments as I could. So, if you make a comment and you have a counter argument, I welcome that altogether. Please, thank you so much. But overall, when it comes to me, and as I am perceiving this and navigating through all that is happening, not just COVID-19, not just the shootings, and not just the increased gun violence in our communities and domestic violence in our communities, and increase sex trafficking of our sons and daughters in our communities, and not just the overwhelming sense of angst and anxiety we all may be facing in one capacity or another, to one degree or another. At this moment, I think it is very critical. It's very critical that we take more time to simply stop, more time to reflect. Take that extra second, take that extra moment to think before acting. There's a book called Thinking Fast and Slow. I would recommend that you read, and the author escapes me right now, but it's very powerful. I've utilized it in my personal growth and development to help me be able to better reason and be less reactive in my interpersonal engagement. And Thinking Fast and Slow, I'll put the information in the description. But this is just a reflection. I didn't really have a scripted thing to say. I'm somewhat overwhelmed, not overwhelmed to where I'm incapable of stopping and examining myself and the things that are happening around me, but just being more mindful as I engage the world, as I engage my brothers and sisters, as I engage my friends. But anyway, thank you for watching. Like I said, this is just a little rant. If you haven't done so, like this video. Also, hit the bell, subscribe. Make sure you hit it for notifications so you see when I update. And share. Thank you so much, you guys. I appreciate all that you're doing to make this world greater. If you're not doing anything, start today. Start today. Bless you.